Everybody, it's Tyler here at the Texas Cup, checking in with team number 9989, 148-2, one of those. But it's Greentown Robotics, as on the back of their shirt. Let's take a look here. See, it says Greentown Robotics. You might think Robo Wranglers, but it says Greentown Robotics. So Greentown Robotics here. We're going to be checking out this oddly named robot, a little bit blue. It's almost like a combination of a couple teams or something like that. So we'll find out more about what's going on here on Behind the Bumpers. But to help me out, I have Riley, Annika, Mari, and Andy, and we're going to be learning more about this robot, what makes it truly unique here in this field. Can't wait to find out really what makes it happen here on Behind the Bumpers.
Giving you a voice.
Making it loud our own way.
Welcome to the fun.
We would like to thank our friends at Stryker for supporting fun so we can continue to make content for you. Stryker makes some of the most revolutionary medical equipment and is a big supporter of FIRST and its participants. If you are looking for an internship or career that supports you being in FIRST, check out careers.stryker.com to learn more. If your team or organization is hosting an off-season event, did you know you can stream it right here on FIRST Updates Now for free? Events that stream on FIRST Updates Now receive an additional 25 to 100% additional viewership because we help you promote your event on a large platform. If you're interested, reach out to us on any of our social platforms, on Discord, or send us an email at admin@firstupdatesnow.com. Let's get your off-season event streaming on FIRST Updates Now. Hurry, dates are booking fast, and we take first come, first serve for all our events.
So Riley, we're going to be starting out with this truly unique intake. I haven't seen anything like this at all, especially not here at this competition, especially because it's pretty much everything all blue, right? If that's kind of the way you look at it, all black and blue. So tell me more about this intake and how it works and some of the design process, and really where you came up with the thought process for this unique design.
Yeah, so this intake, if anyone saw our last year's robot, is going to be a complete redesign from last year's.
Yes.
We designed this intake to solve a lot of the problems that last year's intake had. Problems storing it before the match so it was legal. We had a lot of jam points in the intake, and we designed this with the aim to fix a lot of those problems while still making just a good an intake. So as you can see, the side plates have a fairly odd shape. That's to help with balls getting stuck between this arm, the 4-bar linkage. We have, I believe it is 1.5 diameter rollers with mecanums. The point of the mecanums is to kind of stop balls from getting jammed in this area and to also kind of force them towards the middle of the intake where they intake the best. One of the things that we also wanted to improve was human player loading ability. So we added this plate on top with the nice little stripes for decoration. And what this does is this allows us to move the balls into our spin dexer, and it allows us to, just intake them more efficiently and lets us do better cycles on the field. One thing that I think is pretty unique about this intake that we designed is this little kicker plate. Right here, if you can see, it's poking out right now. This actually starts flat when the intake is stowed up into the robot. And whenever the intake comes down, it's activated by a shaft that goes through a cutout. And this plate just kicks out, and it's there to help give us some more compression on the balls. Other than that, it's a pretty good intake. We like it. It's doing us very well on the field.
So a question to ask in here, material-wise, what material is this right here that's on the side?
This is 6mm polycarb.
Okay, so looking at, polycarb on an intake, are there any concerns of having other robots ram into it or anything like that? Or is it just, you just are able to pop it back up in time? How have you kind of combated that?
Oh, so that's a very good question. So that's one thing that we also tried to design with that in mind. So, with an intake like this, and it only has 4 linkages, that is a very severe issue and something that we want to think about.
Yeah.
So when designing this 4-bar linkage, we actually designed it to where this bar, the bottom linkage is going to be flat. And the reason that we designed it flat, and one thing that was not good on last year's intake, was that if you hit the intake, it would just crunch up and it would break. And so by making this bottom linkage flat, whenever you hit this intake, it has nowhere to go but up, which is the way that we want it to go. It takes the shock better, and it makes it easier to not break.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. So let's keep moving on this robot. Annika, you're going to be talking about the spin dexer that's inside your robot. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll see a couple power cells come in first. So tell me a little bit more about the spin dexer going on in your bot.
So going back to what Riley was saying, our last year's robot had pretty much the same spin dexer. I don't think we really modified it much, but we had to make it work with the new intake. And it's also easier for the human player because as the human player puts the balls in, the spin extra just spins around, and it like prevents the balls from jamming, so the feeder can like feed them up, and then our shooter just shoots them up. Other than that, our spin extra didn't really got modified from last year's spin extra.
Tell me a little bit about the zip ties on here, what purpose these kind of serve, because a lot of teams we see, they kind of either have the dividers, that sort of thing. So how does this come into play?
The zip ties come into play because during matches, for the human players, they really don't see how like the balls are gonna go, and so when the balls fall, the zip ties really just help divide the balls up.
Sure.
And it kind of just gives them a little more of like a flow, so they're not just free spinning around.
Can we see a couple power cells intaked and then going into the spin decks, or what that looks like?
Okay.
So Mari, we're going to be talking about the shooter next as we go up into this. So talk to us a little bit more about what goes into this. Obviously, you're a versatile shooter, looking at some Fairland wheels on your bot, turret, adjustable hood, all that good stuff. Tell me more about it.
So this shooter, the general shape is really similar to ours last year. We have like the big roller here and the hood over here, and we can raise it and lower it with the servos motors. One thing that I think is the biggest change is instead of having a flat hood like over here, we added rollers. This is completely new, and we designed it this year. It just helps the ball go a little quicker, a little more precise. And yeah, so that's the biggest change that we have.
Sure. When you look at, on here, from the Fairline wheels that you're using, these don't weigh really a whole lot, so you got that extra flywheel on the end. Can you talk to me a little bit more about, how that process works in regards to speeding things up? And then you got, the other wheels that are here as well, too. How does that all incorporate in your shooter?
Well, these wheels help it guide it a little more. Like, we noticed it was shooting a lot more accurately, like in a straighter line. At first we had only one or like two flywheels, and it didn't help, so we added more, and it improved a lot. And as you see, it's a very nice electric blue color.
Let's go over to Andy next, if you don't mind. We'll talk about the climber and the drive going on in this. So obviously, very large climber that you guys have. Talk to me about just the structure and the process that goes into that.
So in the beginning of the year, we decided we wanted to do 2 hooks so that the balance of the robot stays proportional. We also decided we wanted to do 3-stage cascading tubes. So we use the rope here to help winch the robot down with a gearbox on the bottom side of the robot. And then there's a shaft going through the underside of the robot that connects both the 2 gearboxes, and it uses 1 Falcon motor.
And do you know, have you ever tried to hang with just like one of the claws on there? Has that worked at all?
Oh yeah, actually last year at Plano, we ended up to where one of our gearboxes on one side had the rope stuck, so we had to go with the 1 arm. And fortunately, it did pull up, but it was like kind of wobbly.
Sure.
So.
I mean, if it counts, right? So
yeah,
that's
it
what
did
matters.
count.
Let's wrap up and take a look at your drive and tell me a little bit more about some of the drive pods. Are we able to, could we tip the robot back or anything like that? Take a look. Sure. So tell us more about, I'm very interested to hear about these skid plates that you guys have, and then anything else on your swerve as well.
So with the swerve drive, we decided we want to go fast, and to go up the berm, it was like, 1-inch berm or something. We thought it would severely damage our wheels and our tread that we have on here. So we decided to create a side plate that goes on it that takes most of the blow from going up the truss.
Last thing I want to ask in here is there's been reports coming in that your team is actually essentially just a practice robot of the 148 robot that's over there as well too. What do you have to say to the reports that have been coming in for that?
So I say we got rid of the practice robot when we decided to paint it blue. So
I mean, and that's why the unique name and the unique robot, right? So
absolutely.
So once again, we're talking 9989, 148. The actual team name. Let's take a look in the back here. Greentown Robotics as well too, telling us more about their team. Thanks a lot for showing off your robot, and good luck here at the competition as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We would like to thank our friends at Stryker for supporting this video. Stryker is looking for current and future FIRST alumni to join their internship program, and FIRST mentors who are looking for a great career with a company who actually supports their FIRST journey. Go to careers.stryker.com to learn more. You can also directly support Fun by joining Fun Nation. Click the join button, and just for a few bucks a month, you'll unlock special perks and directly support us so we can keep making great content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on our new videos. Keep the conversation going and provide your input to our content. Watch our live shows at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. Join our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow, and check out Fun FTC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and First Updates Now on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.